Welcome, Grand Fam. My name is Demetrius Stewart, spring 96. I graduated in electronics engineering technology. I was a member of the world famed Tiger Marching Band and a retired Air Force officer via the former Det 311 Air Force ROTC. Thank you for being a part of our inaugural Alumni Week, kicking off this week in our national convention. Just want to make a note, registration is still open for the business sessions on Friday and Saturday. We'll close that down Thursday at noon. You can go to gunaa.org and register. Also, our Double Good fundraiser kicked off today at 5 p.m. The code is XEECJO. So let's go out and raise some money to support Grambling. The purpose of the night is to get the State of GSU address from the faculty and staff at Grambling. Who will kick it off is none other than our 10th president, Grambling native himself, former Louisiana State Senator, President Richard Gallo, who's celebrating his 5th year as the president of the university a few days ago here. He's an 87 alum himself and also a former member of the world famed Tiger Marching Band. So with that said, he's also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated. So, sir, thank you for your time tonight. Everyone, President Gallo.
All right, Demetrius, thank you so much for the introduction. And as the deck is being pulled up, I will say that 5 years has gone by really fast. And but when you're living in God's purpose for your life, it doesn't feel like work, and we can enjoy the labor each day on behalf of our students. I'm going to kind of just roll through the deck pretty quickly because it's the same or similar to the one I rolled on Sunday when we did the 5-year update. And so, I'll start with where I always do, and that is that our North Star is it's our students. I mean, that's what we focus on each and every day. And on the next slide, we have a quote that I often like to use from Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. North Star has always been the same. Making insanely great products that really change the world and enrich people's lives. And that in effect is what we're all about. Our product is our student, and it's what we focus on every day. And as all of you who are on the line tonight have in your own way changed the world. And so, we're still in the business of doing that. So, we focus very intently on our student success and institutional sustainability. And even though the only constant is change, when you put a structure in place and a team in place that's focused on succession planning and ensuring that the core of the institution is strong, then we no longer see the disruptions that we previously saw in previous administrations. Next slide. And as we look at the timeline, and again, for those of you who tune into my updates, all of this should look very familiar. This is a culmination of a body of work over the last 5 years, and again, just seeing the growth in enrollment in all the measurables that really matter. We can certainly say that we've seen continual growth and improvement in every facet of what we do. Our partnerships are very strong. Sodexo Magic, Argent, Coca-Cola, Amazon Web Services, Beyonce, Adidas. All of these partnerships have certainly been value adds for the university and really have us poised to do some really amazing things as we continue to go forward. Next slide. So again, I'll just kind of go through quickly, and for those who watched on Sunday, again, a lot of this will be repetitive, but I think it's worth noting that the average tenure of an HBCU president is 3.3 years, and it's a sobering statistic because it is, I think, one of the things that really deprives our HBCUs of really gaining the type of momentum that is so necessary, because if you're changing leadership every 3.3 years, it becomes very difficult to get the sustainability that I spoke about a few minutes ago. So, again, very, very thankful for, having reached this 5-year milestone, but, we're just getting started. The best days are still ahead. We were able to successfully go through our reaccreditation process last year. To be fully reaccredited for the next 10 years is something that we're very proud of. Unfortunately, it doesn't. This slide doesn't get the likes and the shares and the hundreds of comments that some other, quite frankly, less important things do. But if you're not accredited, then you have no football, you have no band, you have no institution. So I can't stress just how significant this is, and thanking Dr. Walton for leading that effort, and for everybody, the entire team, from top to bottom, for helping us to get through that process, and ensuring that we continue to do this work, so that we're not scrambling in 10 years to do this again. In the last 5 years, we've seen a cumulative 20.47 increase in our enrollment. Why is that important? Number one, it's important because it means that we have increased the number of students who are taking advantage of a high quality education. But it is also important because 75% of our budget is based on tuition. And so no students, no tuition, no revenue. And so, this has given us the opportunity again to not only change more lives, but it has also provided us, an era of financial stability that has in sometimes past been elusive for us. Next slide. And not only have we been growing in the numbers of students who are coming, but we're also growing in the percentage of retention. So when you think about back in 2016, our first to second year retention rate was only 60%. And again, through a lot of hard work and really continuing to put the student first, we've seen an increase from 60 to 77%. That is an amazing feat. And again, our university college and all of the folks who work in the retention unit have really worked hard, and our students, have worked hard in order to continue to persist and return from that first year to second year. Next slide. And we're now finally beginning to see a trailing impact on our graduation rate. When we started in 2016, our graduation rate was 34%. Now, that is in HBCU circles is average. We were doing pretty much on average what HBCUs typically do. But we're not satisfied with just being average in HBCU space. Obviously, our goal is to do so much more and so much better. So we have seen finally an uptick in our graduation rate. So we went from 34 to 42%. And if you look at even in our peers in the UL system, we are within striking distance of hitting the average of the UL system schools. So again, that is an accomplishment that we're very proud of, but we're not getting complacent or comfortable at that. We certainly we can do better, and we are focused on doing better. Certainly want to point out that the $87 million that we were able to receive in debt relief, and again, I can't say enough. Congress didn't write us a check. What they did was to forgive the debt of the loan that we had when we refinanced our student housing back in the fall of 2016. Throughout the COVID relief packages, Congress forgave the loans of 44 HBCUs, and again, that has provided us an opportunity to essentially come into 2021 debt free. And so, that has opened up the opportunity for us to really look at some strategic planning and investments in facilities and other things as we go forward. Next slide. we're very excited about the launch of the Doug Williams Center. Obviously, Doug's name is, is synonymous with overcoming challenges, not just in the Super Bowl game that he was MVP, but his entire career as a player and as a coach. And so when you think about the intersection of race and politics in sports, that is an area that we're certainly, taking, we're leaning into this area and providing some great work in terms of researching the impact where those topics collide. And so we've got Brandon Logan, who is our executive director. Raven Thistle has worked with our communications with the Doug Williams Center. They were responsible for hosting the Brown Girls Do Gymnastics on the other weekend. So again, that has really brought out a lot of energy and a lot of excitement. And I don't know if Dr. Scott's going to talk about gymnastics, but no pressure, Doc. All right, next slide. Just a few things about academic programs that we've been able to add. Of course, back in 2019, we added the bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. We're the first and only school in the state of Louisiana to offer a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. Clearly, you all understand the importance of this area. And as we look at, preparing the workforce, not just for 2021, but for 2031 and beyond, cybersecurity is certainly going to be right in the middle of the available jobs and good paying jobs that are going to be available for our graduates. Next slide. We've also added the degree in cloud computing, and that was a result of a partnership with Amazon Web Services. It is not proprietary just to AWS. Of course, we have partnerships with Microsoft, with Google, and with others. So IBM, I don't want to leave anybody out. I don't want Kathy Conright tell me I left IBM out. All of these partners are certainly value add in terms of us preparing cloud computing professionals who, again, will have just a plethora of jobs available when they graduate. And I didn't mention, but on cybersecurity, and again, many of you keep up with this, but it's worth noting, our first graduate graduated in May, Alexis White. And so she is the first person in the state of Louisiana to graduate with a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. Among the many offers that she had for employment, she accepted a position with Deloitte, working in their cyber practice. And so, very proud of Alexis and going out as our first graduate. Set to launch next fall of 22, will be the PhD in criminology and justice studies. This is significant in many ways. Number one, it is our first PhD. Now, of course, we've had the EDD for many years, but this will be the first PhD in school history. And again, it doesn't launch until next year. I got a text from an alum saying somebody's trying to apply for the PhD program and can't get in. Well, the door's not open yet, but it will be for next fall. So we're really excited about that program. Next slide. Again, we were very pleased to be able to get reinstated the undergraduate nursing program. Of course, we all took a punch in the belly when that program was discontinued, and that was certainly one of our top priorities coming in 2016. So we're very thankful that within a year's time we were able to get that program reopened. Next slide. I guess I say I'm excited about all these programs that we're launching, and certainly Call Me Mr. is no exception. We were able to partner with Clemson University and Dr. Roy Jones there, who's been doing amazing work in Black male teacher training over the last 20 years. And so we've partnered with them. Our first cohort of Misters completed their first year, and those guys are really doing great. We've got a new set of Misters coming in for this fall. And when you think about cyber and cloud and all these other things that we're doing, we will never have students to go into those programs unless they have good K through 12 teachers. And so, we have really refocused on teacher education. And the first bachelor's degree that we awarded at Grambling was in 1944, was in teacher education. So, this is really core to our mission and why we were established in the first place. So you can certainly count on seeing us doing more in terms of supporting and growing and scaling this program so that we become the place, that not just the place where everybody's somebody, but the place where if you're looking for a Black male teacher to go in your classroom, Grambling is going to be the place that you come looking. Just a few things about some facilities. We partnered with Whataburger, and thanks to Brandon Logan, I mentioned earlier, connecting us with the CEO of Whataburger, and they invested in our Tiger Resource Room. Of course, food insecurity is something that has really been highlighted in recent times, and certainly our students are no exception. So to have a partner like Whataburger coming in and partnering with us to provide these necessities for students, not just ones on campus, but those who are off as well, we're very very proud of that partnership. Next slide. Coca-Cola, again, they've been a great partner, and they've invested in a hydration station in our athletic area. It is really just state of the art, and I would definitely put it up against some of the others I've seen, even at Power Five schools. The quality of the hydration station for our student athletes. Next slide. Of course, the natatorium and intramural center, we are looking forward to getting in there. Just a few things that are still left on the punch list with the contractor, and we're not going to accept the building until all of those items have been cleared. But the building looks amazing, and we're really looking forward to getting students and maybe some alums in that pool as well. Next slide. Our partnership with Sodexo Magic, has yielded approximately $5 million investment in McCall Dining Hall, and the space is really just amazing. And it's not just some place to go and have a meal. And that room used to be the president's dining room, but I wanted the students to have full use of the facility, and so that's a gaming area that our students are able to really feel like they're at home. And so we've got uh, vegan options, vegetarian options, and pretty much something for everyone. So again, we're very excited about that. And of course, we've got 24/7 dining for our students, and always keeping our students first, and trying to make sure they're taken care of. Next slide. Out with the old, the A.C. Lewis Memorial Library is no more. It is completely gone for those who have not been on campus. Again, there was just a lot of problems with that building, and so I'm thankful that we were able to go ahead and get it demolished. And then next slide will represent what's going to be the future, and that is our state-of-the-art digital library. And it will be first and only in the state, only HBCU with a digital-born library, and it will be the centerpiece of our academic hub. Our students deserve to have the best and the state-of-the-art technology, and we are absolutely committed to continuing to deliver on that for our students. Next slide. Building what's next. And of course, again, I said earlier, I believe that the only constant in life is change. And of course, we've had some changes in administration. In Mark Newman, our former Vice President of Advancement, has gone on to another position. Our Executive Vice President and COO, Martin Lamel, has accepted a new position. These are all things that we certainly plan for, and succession planning has certainly been something that we have been looking very closely at, and spending a lot of time planning for. Of course, with COVID, it certainly highlighted the fact that you always have to be prepared as it relates to leadership. And so, again, we're grateful for all the amazing things that Martin has done while he was here, and certainly know that he will continue to represent the Grambling brand in his next role. So again, very, very proud of him. And I tell people all the time, I've known him since his mom and dad were dating. So I guess that means I've known him his entire life. And so again, just very proud of him, and know he's going to do an amazing job there. We're also going to be leading in with our master plan here soon. So stay tuned. We'll have more to talk about with that. Getting close to the end here. We were, thanks to the appropriation of the legislature, able to provide a 3.477 pay raise for our faculty. Now, they only funded the faculty raise, and so what we did, utilizing university resources, was to make this an across-the-board raise, where not only faculty but staff receive raises as well. Everybody but me, that is. I'm the only one on campus who didn't get a raise. And of course, when you add this to the 2% that was awarded 3 years ago, that puts us at 5.477% across the board raise within the last 3 years. So again, is it enough? No, but we certainly are grateful for the opportunity to have done this much in terms of raising the salaries of our faculty and staff. Next slide. Of course, this is the biggie, and utilizing funds again from the various COVID relief packages, we were able to retire the balances of any of our students who had balances, who attended from the spring of 2020 through the summer of 2021. So unfortunately, if you were in school with me back in the 80s and you had a balance, this doesn't apply to you. Only those students who were attending Grambling during this period as defined in the legislation. And so, as I mentioned about the retention rate and the increase there, it's not just academic. So many of our students have had financial challenges all along, and then when you sort of pile on the ramifications of this pandemic, it has made a tough job even tougher. And so to be able to provide approximately $1.5 million to zero out the balances of those student accounts is something that we're certainly very, very grateful that we were blessed with the money, and we blessed our students with it as well. So again, we're happy about that. I think that may be my last slide in this deck. Yeah, questions, and I think I was told that we would hold those to the end. So I will stop right there, and thank you again for tuning in and let me say a few words tonight. Thank you.
Okay, next up we'll have a presentation by Martin Lamel. So sir, when you're ready.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm gonna queue up this next deck. All right, well, good evening, and certainly following up on President Gallo's commentary, just want to start with a profound sense of gratitude for the work that everyone within the National Alumni Association continues to do on behalf of Grambling State University. Can't thank you enough. As we think about the progress and the wins, it starts with a deep commitment of our alums. And so we are forever Grambling, connected to this wonderful fabric and tapestry that is the place where everybody is somebody. So thank you again for all of your support and continual investment in Grambling State University. I'm pleased to share just a brief update, and I wanted to focus on really building what's next in the finance and operations sector, particularly focused on analytics and insights. When I think about how we come to decision points within higher education, it's really through three distinct variables. It's our people, our processes, and our data. And so I want to share with you some insights about where we're going next in finance and operations as it relates to analytics. So Ellucian is our ERP. It is our center of truth. It is our brain for the operation. And really it is the investment that Grambling has made to ensure that we have an intelligent campus going forward. Outside of our finance and human resources and student modules, we're now investing in the next chapter of that success, and that's in data analytics. You hear big data all the time, but what does big data do for you if it's not providing with the insights to make the decisions and arm leaders like President Gallo, Dr. Scott, and others with the right data for the next steps? So for us, it is a new way of doing business. President Gallo spoke a lot about the progress over the last 5 years. And so how do we maintain that progress? How do we ensure that we have the information to empower the people to make the decisions going forward? And so why are institutions across the globe thinking about big data and insights? You'll see some statistics there, and it really starts with the need for a tool and the right technology. And so those barriers to decision-making exist, particularly in institutions with limited resources. And so as President Gallo has charged us going forward, we will do more with more. We will operate from a mindset of growth, not from a mindset of scarcity. And so this tool ultimately helps power some of that insight going forward. When surveyed, higher ed leaders said that data-driven decision-making is the top benefit of analytics. And we'll go into some use cases around how we intend to make this come alive for Grambling, but it really is about having a campus-wide approach to the way we make decisions, everything from athletics to academics. So what are the success indicators and the key factors for how this program is managed going forward? The first key benefit is working with a great team. Peggy Hanley, who we'll have more conversations about in the upcoming months, and Sheila Fawcett, who's joining us tonight, Francis Williams, who leads our budget and HR team, Sheila, who's our Senior Associate VP for Finance and Operations, as well as Fred Carr, who manages facilities. All campus leaders are focused on bringing in our insights into a single funnel. And so we want to be able to tell the story of Grambling internally as we manage from a collaborative approach. And so that means standardization. That means consistently defining what is success. Do we want to chart enrollment growth trajectory in a tri-state area? What is our strategy going forward for recruiting students across the globe? And so all of these data points exist today. We need to bring them into the funnel and ultimately provide some insights across the institution. And this is just not lag and drag data. So let's look at last year's results and recap. Yes, we need to do that, but the future of Grambling depends on us thinking about forward momentum. And so that's real-time information. For the parents who are on the line and the alums who have entrusted us with your students, we need real-time insights to manage the COVID pandemic. We need to be able to understand contact tracing. We need to have an intelligent campus where checking into one area across the campus lets us know that a student is in that building. And so all of this connects to analytics and how Grambling will continue to grow and be managed and ultimately become the gold standard for a smart campus. And so this creates a deeper understanding of how we manage institutional performance. President Gallo will often call and ask for insights as he's making decisions or needing to talk to state officials, system officials. And so we need to be able to respond timely. Time is always of the essence. And so we've invested in this tool and certainly see a lot of benefit going forward with decision making. The second big key factor is that it's intuitive and role-based. Our team members are focused on being able to do their day-to-day responsibilities. And so we want to make sure we customize their content so that Dr. Walton and the academic leadership team with phenomenal folks like Dr. Hams and Dr. Belton and Ms. Lloyd and others can have a sense of the operations in the academic queue. What students are showing up for the first day of class? What students are having trouble with the first exam? And so we can drill down all the way to the individual student experience and understand where we've got areas to celebrate and where we have some opportunities to improve so that those measurements like retention and graduation continue to go up the scale. And so we ultimately also have to be a campus that's on demand. In 2020, we took a major pivot during the pandemic, and that required us to be able to telework, to be able to have connectivity on our mobile devices and an offsite location. And so everything that we've done over the past 5 years to invest in technology has helped us in 2020 and will help us going forward. Projects like installing the full Microsoft Office 365 application so that I could get a link tonight 2 minutes before the presentation and ensure that it gets to you across the world. That's the power of technology and the investment that we've made. So that President Gallo or Dr. Walton or Dr. Scott, if they're traveling on the road and there needs to be a change to their travel, we can do that on a mobile phone. And so students who want to apply to Grambling or understand our experience after they hear about the world famed Tiger Marching Band, they can do that again from the power of their phone or mobile application. And so we'll bring all these insights and all these success indicators into one funnel so that we're managing intelligently. And yes, when those issues arise, whether it's the call in the dormitory because you need to tweak the temperature of your AC, we want to be able to get that in real time, respond to you appropriately, and provide the solution and an avenue for you to give us feedback, because that's the only way that we continue to get better and grow and become the customer service centric organization that we deserve to be for our students. Finally, I'll show you just an example of sample data. We're going through the implementation and rollout for this new analytical software platform that's specifically designed for higher education. You'll see a snapshot there. Again, this is not our data, it's sample data. We're rolling this project out in phases. The first phase that we're doing this fall is students first, obviously. And so we'll start to have additional insights about our student population, share those on a weekly cadence, understand the trajectory of enrollment trends, not just for the next semester, but the next couple of years, understand student performance indicators so that we, again, can influence student success, retention, and graduation. And yes, from a finance and operations standpoint, understand how we manage cash flow, understand how we make decisions about new investment, whether that's programs or projects, and certainly our people, understanding where we have opportunities to grow our bench and where team members have skill sets that we need to tap into. And so Grambling is a dynamic organization. We will continue to grow and evolve, and we do that through investing in tools like the one that we're rolling out now. And so we appreciate just a moment to share some progress. Again, thought it was important to focus on really the future of how we do business in higher education and how Grambling will be at the front line of leading that change. So again, thank you very much. And everyone, if you have questions, never hesitate to reach out to our team. Happy to be here and appreciate your support. And with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Walton, if you'd like me to. I think she's up and ready. Dr.
Yes.
Walton.
All right, thank you. So I'm gonna thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you and provide some updates for academic affairs. Next slide. So this is, okay. So when we prepared for the fall semester, we started during the spring semester. And one of the things that we wanted to do is to make sure that we did not lose the momentum that we gained during the fall 2020 semester and the spring 21 semester. When we look at our academic programs, we have currently 42 degree programs and 4 certificate programs. We have all of our accrediting bodies that we are required to have for our programs. Those programs are accredited. We continue to be recognized for diverse issues in higher education as being the top producers of African American students in specific degree programs. We have faculty who are engaging in projects that impact our community. For example, we have a biology faculty member who's working on being able to sequence COVID-19 samples that are collected from specimens. We have our College of Business faculty and our engineering technology faculty who are working on broadband plans for rural communities. Next slide, please. So as I said earlier, we wanted to make sure that this fall semester, we would not lose the momentum that we gained during the fall 2020 semester and the spring 2021 semester in being able to deliver high quality online courses. Next slide, please. So as we plan for the fall 2021 semester, we developed a course schedule that would offer courses that were delivered in a variety of formats: face-to-face, hybrid, and 100% online. We wanted to make sure that when we had multiple sections of a course being offered, that we had half of the courses offered in face-to-face format and half that were delivered 100% online. Next slide, please. So during the fall 2020 semester and the spring 2021 semester, we had faculty teaching classes on campus in a face-to-face format. These faculty wanted to be able to live stream their lectures for those students who would be joining the class in the virtual environment. And so these faculty use their laptops to live stream these lectures. And those laptops had some, they limited what the faculty was able to do. So using CARES Act funds, what we've been able to do is equip classrooms in practically all of the academic buildings to support live streaming of lectures. These buildings include T.L. James Hall, Carver Hall, Adams Hall, Woodson Hall, Jacob T. Stewart, Washington Complex, the Performing Arts Building, Frederick Hobby Assembly Center, and Grambling Hall. On tomorrow afternoon and on Thursday, Ms. Hanley in our IT department will be offering training for faculty in how to use the equipment in those rooms. Next slides. Next slide, please. All right, so I stated earlier that we continue to be recognized as top producers. So diverse issues in higher education every year, they come up with the top 100 producers. So in 2020, when you look at our undergraduate programs, we were recognized as being ranked 13th for producing those African-American graduates who've earned a bachelor's degree in a criminal justice related area. If you look at education, African-Americans receiving a bachelor's degree in education, we're ranked 28th. If you look at engineering technology and engineering related degree programs, we're ranked 44th. When you look at the master's programs, we are ranked first in producing African-American graduates with a master's degree in criminal justice related areas. Ranked 5th in producing African-Americans with a social science degree, and ranked 8th in producing African-American graduates in the areas of parks, recreation, leisure, and fitness studies. Next slide, please. So in the midst of the pandemic last year, our faculty still found time to be productive and making sure that we're continuing to move our academic programs forward and being able to meet emerging workforce needs. So last fall, we received approval to offer an undergraduate certificate program in data analytics, and we received approval to offer an undergraduate certificate program in advanced supervision and social work. President Gallo already mentioned this. In May of this year, we received approval to offer our first PhD, a PhD in criminology and justice administration. Next slide, please. So we're continuing to expand partnerships, realizing that in creating an environment, an academic environment that's going to equip our students with the skills to be competitive at the national and international level, we have to rely upon partners. Next slide. So the chemistry program partnered with Louisiana Tech to offer a 4+1 program. So that means that a chemistry major as a senior would be completing their senior year at Grambling and their first year in a master's in molecular science and nanotechnology at Louisiana Tech. So we had our first chemistry major to participate in this program, Dale Majors from Nevada. So when he graduated in May of 2021, he had already completed his first year in this master's program. He recently reached out to me to let me know that they have accepted him, Louisiana Tech, into the PhD program. So that speaks to the quality of our graduates. The College of Business, in partnership with Nicholls State University, is offering an opportunity for graduates from the College of Business to enter an MBA program. And so we have admitted one student, and this student is progressing through the program. Kinesiology has partnered with a church to develop a study abroad program for students. We have our continuing education program identifying opportunities to expand programs that are offered to the public. We are partnering with high schools to expand dual enrollment. And we are partnering with osteopathic medicine colleges to expand the opportunities that we provide for our students who are interested in pre-med. Next slide, please. So this year we expanded our partnerships further. So the College of Business entered into a MOU with Arizona State University so that our students will be able to obtain a minor in real estate development. So these students will be starting this fall, will be able to take courses from Arizona State University. Grambling State University entered into an agreement with the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, specifically focusing on Grambling working with rural communities in developing broadband plans. When we looked at our sociology and psychology program, they partnered with Marywood University in Pennsylvania so that our students can enter a PhD program in psychology. Next slide, please. So the College of Business shared some of their accomplishments for 2021 academic year. The one that I want to focus on is the AACSB accreditation. So in April of this year, we were notified that our College of Business is fully accredited. It was reaffirmed by AACSB. And this is an accrediting body that is not easy to get the initial accreditation and maintain it. Next slide, please. Earl Lester Cole Honors College. So Dr. Smiley worked with two students who were admitted into the Clinton Global Initiative University. And these students, Alexis White, that President Gallo mentioned as being the first student to complete the cybersecurity degree program, and Jimmy Roberson, were admitted to the Clinton Global Initiative University. And part of this leadership training involves these students working on a project that's going to benefit their home university. Next slide, please. So as a part of our SAC COC reaffirmation that President Gallo mentioned that we're reaffirmed to 2030, required that we identify a quality enhancement plan. So what skills did we want to expand, improve on for our undergraduate students? And so we focused on oral communication skills. So during this past year, we fully implemented this particular project. Next slide, please. So when you look at the College of Education is partnering with school districts to train paraprofessionals. The teacher education program was recognized by educationdegree.com as being one of the most affordable teacher certification baccalaureate degree programs in the West South Central region of the US. Next slide, please. Our Office of Distance Learning really stepped up during the pandemic, and they really focused on providing services to faculty to support being able to deliver high quality online courses. That included, they adopted software that faculty could use that would enhance the communication with students in virtual classes. Next slide, please. So during the pandemic, 2020, 2021, our faculty and staff found the time to write proposals. 32 proposals were written, and we brought in $2 million of new funding from those proposals that were funded. The broadband initiative with NTIA, we have our College of Business and our engineering technology faculty who've been working with Bienville Parish to develop a plan that focuses on expanding the broadband service and making sure all citizens in Bienville Parish have access to broadband. I mentioned this earlier, we have a biology faculty member who is working with LSU Health Science Center in identifying the genomics for COVID-19. Next sample, next slide. So it was important that we had to cancel our commencement exercise for the spring 2020 commencement, but it was important that we actually brought commencement exercises back for the fall semester and the spring. So for the fall semester, we held 6 commencement exercises. 2 were devoted to those spring 2020 graduates, and the other 4 for the fall graduates. During this past spring semester, we held 2 commencement exercises. Next slide, please. All right, BSN program. So we had 7 students to graduate from the BSN program during the spring semester, and they graduated from an accredited program. During the beginning of the spring semester, our program was reviewed by the accreditation by the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education, and we were accredited, and those students graduated from an accredited program. Next slide, please. So how can you provide assistance? Assist us in recruiting students, recruiting faculty, providing scholarship funds, and working with academic programs to ensure that our programs always remain up to date and relevant. Next slide, please. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'll be available to answer any questions that may arise later. Thank you.
Okay, next is Sheila Fawcett, the Senior Associate VP for Finance and Operations.
Demetrius, next up will be Dr. Scott. Sheila will join us for any questions.
Okay. Adjust and move on. That's what we do. Okay. Dr. Scott, Travion Scott.
Good evening. I am so excited to be here this evening. I first want to obviously thank the Graham fam, my new Graham fam, for welcoming my family and I to North Louisiana. We often make a joke about, my affiliation with the school down south and what it means or what it meant being a native of South Louisiana and understanding, what that G symbolizes. And so to have the opportunity to join such an esteemed institution under the leadership of President Gallo and Mr. LaMelle and Dr. Walton is something that I take seriously. I'll start just by expressing my favorite quote as it relates to athletics. Dean Smith once said that for better or worse, athletics is to a university what a front porch is to a home. It's the most visible, but it's not the most important. And so with that, we are going to streamline every process, every strategic plan, every directive with that of the university. We're going to align all that we do in a manner that highlights Grambling State University as a whole and not just athletics. For us, my first official day was today, actually. I'm actually out meeting with a donor now. So I feel like I'm actually living a real life fast break, if you will, with the amount of conversations, substantive conversations, and engagements. Obviously that a first day or first 30, 60, 90-day AD would have. A part of that obviously is this 90-day agenda that we're undertaking, and obviously that would merely involve hiring staff, engaging with every stakeholder, preparing for the fall, especially with having football games on campus now in an environment where hopefully we're able to get 100% participation. And then COVID prep. I think that's important as well because COVID isn't going anywhere. And so these first 30, 60, 90 days for us mainly involve listening, learning, and acting. And so we've been doing a lot of listening today. We kick off our 100 meetings in 100 days tomorrow morning, actually, with our first head coaches meeting, which will be at 9 o'clock. And we're going to roll out an aggressive platform. The first involve athletics facilities. We've had an opportunity, again, through the leadership of President Gallo, Mr. LaMelle, and their offices, and being able to attack what we feel is an opportunity to upgrade immediately in some of our areas, particularly tennis, track and field, softball, and soccer. And so from that 30, 60, 90 days and understanding what we need to do with facilities, we're going to transpose and transition from there to our strategic model, which we'll release in January of 2022 to 2027, rather, a strategic plan where we've already identified 7 main principles with the opportunity to increase those. Those 7 main principles are academic success and understanding academic progress rate. Or the president referenced earlier the importance of first to second year retention rates, graduation success rates overall, which is a 6-year metrics, and academic progress rate for athletics, which is a 4-year rolling metrics. Again, in alignment with the strategic objectives and the strategic goals that President Gallo laid out as he opened this call. The second will be the student athlete experience. And so everything that we will do will be student athlete centered. If I was a vice president of student affairs, we would say we would be student centered. So that's no different other than it will be within the veins and the confines of athletic administration. Competitive excellence. We want to be great in everything. Again, that G symbolizes greatness. That G has a history and a tradition and a symbolism that represents putting out programs that not only win on their respective fields of play, but also in the classroom and in the community. The next would be community spirit and tradition. How great is it that our football program gets to participate in Eddie G. Robinson Stadium? How great is it that our men's basketball team get to participate in the Hobby Center, and so on and so forth. And so we want to make sure that we can actively engage and try to relate, obviously, the nuances of innovation and doing things that are new, fresh, bold, and innovative, but also while not moving away from the history, the tradition, the pageantry that built Grambling athletics to what it is. And so we're going to merge one generation with the other. That goes directly into our next objective, which is the Tiger culture. What we want to do to be able to be able to elucidate, to illustrate that culture. Our student athletes already have a saying, grit, so growth, resilience, integrity, and teamwork. That is the Grambling Athletics model moving into the 2021-2022 academic year. Obviously, coming off COVID, we've had to withstand game cancellations and contact tracing and all of those things. And our student athletes performed admirably in the classroom as far as their coursework. But they also did a great job being able to overcome all things COVID in our last academic year. And so, again, while we're COVID planning and prepping and developing our policies, our processes, our procedures, and our thoughts on how we're going to effectively transition through COVID, because we're not out of it yet, we want to make sure that we can build and maintain a culture, and that grit culture is what our student athletes chose for this year. Marketing, brand recognition, fundraising, and I like to call it friend raising. That gives us an opportunity to, again, bring our stakeholders together. One of the things that we've been able to uncover fairly early throughout this transition process is what we can do to highlight the brand, what we can do to bring about more corporate relationships, more individual philanthropic relationships, and that's have more home games. And so we're looking at 2024 possibly upping our home games to as many as 5. And so we are working very diligently to make that happen, just to ensure, again, that we can highlight the brand that is Grambling State University, not just to a corporate sponsor or to an individual donor, but to our fans, to our students, and to the many stakeholders that we have within our footprint. And the last will be financial responsibility. I talk about this all the time, about the need for us to be fiscally responsible, but also from a dollars and cents standpoint, but I like to call it being fiscally efficient. And so the NCAA recognizes many of the schools in the state of Louisiana as LRIs, or low resource institutions. And what that says is that our institution, as one of them, falls within the bottom 15% of all revenues generated. That may sound like a concern, but I heard low resource institution and not no resource institution. So with that, obviously we have to leverage the resources that we do have. In my many discussions with President Gallo and Mr. LaMelle, I've highlighted that we have a lot. We have resources, and we have to be efficient in how we manage our resources. We have to be data-driven in our approach so that we don't waste the resources that we do have. Moving right along, within those 7 principles, obviously, is increasing sports sponsorship. And what sports sponsorship is the amount of sports that we offer. Right now, we currently offer 15 Division I athletics programs, 9 women and 6 men. We're looking at, we have several feasibility studies on the horizon, which would include wrestling, women's swimming, and women's gymnastics. But what we want to do in 2023, in the fall of 2023, again, we're going to roll out an aggressive agenda to reintroduce men's tennis and men's and women's golf to our athletic footprint before undertaking those feasibility studies. President Gallo and I were sharing an Ebony magazine article where they highlighted our women's, the opportunity for us to bring gymnastics in Ebony magazine. And so that's huge. Now I like to think that if I look correctly, they're saying we're going to add it, but at this point, it's merely a feasibility study. But we're excited about even having the opportunity to undertake such an initiative. We had our Brown Girls Gymnastics event on campus a couple weeks ago, and that was met with a huge amount of interest from the women's gymnastics community, not just within the state of Louisiana, but regionally as well. And so we want to capitalize off of that momentum. I've had conversations with Brown Girls Gymnastics to extend our partnership for 3 to 5 more years while we perform the feasibility study, as a sense to be able to take that momentum and roll it into a women's gymnastics program if we were to have one. Obviously, an additional point of that will be customer service. I'm very excited that we'll be bringing on the Artix platform. And so that will allow our season ticket holders, our individual ticket holders as well, to purchase tickets remotely from their smart devices and be able to use those cell phones to be able to scan your tickets into the game. But we're also looking at creating a robust ticket donation system. So for our alums and for our stakeholders and many of our supporters who don't live in the North Louisiana footprint, to be able to donate those tickets, and we'll be able then to go out in the community and engage with schools and underprivileged folks, underprivileged young folks, and also those who we want to bring on our campus to really spread the good news, again, of not just Tiger Athletics, but Grambling State University. I'll finish up here, and again, as part of that, transitioning to our rolling with the G Tour, where we'll be going, we'll do a slight abbreviated version this fall, where we'll hit Houston and Dallas with plans in summer of 2022 and broadening that philanthropic fundraising tour, if you will, to Houston, Dallas, Chicago, Atlanta, LA, North Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Washington, D.C., where we'll have 3 or 4 of our coaches. We'll talk about our aggressive fundraising initiative, which we're calling the Win League, and be able, again, to engage with Tigers from everywhere, not just North Louisiana, not just South Louisiana, not just West Texas, or East Texas, rather, but all the way out where we have large pockets of alums in the LA area, the Chicago area, the Washington, D.C. area as well. And so I'll stop there. Again, I'm very excited about this opportunity. I'm usually up at 6:50, 6:45 in the morning, writing down notes and planning for the day up until about 10:30, 11 o'clock when I hang up the phone for the last time. So again, very excited. I'll be more than excited and more than happy and more than willing to answer any questions as well. Thank you for your time.
Okay, I think that concluded the presentations, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Martin and President Gallo?
I believe
Yes,
it is,
sir.
and I can jump in and start answering these questions if you don't mind, Demetrius.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, great. Look, the first question about Origin being our financial institution, actually Chase handles more of our banking than Origin. It's actually a very small part. The only ATM that we have on campus is actually an Origin ATM. So, the decisions as to where branches are placed is certainly, well beyond our control. But I can say that, certainly we have a great relationship. They are, a contributor and sponsor of several of our programs on campus, as well as Louisiana National Bank, formerly known as First National, and JP Morgan Chase. So thank you for that question. Nehemiah, man, I hadn't heard from you in a long time. Asking about the relationship between the city and the university. Look, I met with Mayor Jones yesterday. Look, I live in Grambling. I pay property taxes here in Grambling. We have a good relationship. He's a homeboy, fraternity brother. I don't run the city. They don't run the university. We have several initiatives that we do together. Just, and I'll give you one example. Throughout COVID, we've had the Louisiana National Guard and other providers providing COVID testing as well as vaccinations here on campus, and we have partnered with the city and with the residents to provide these services for them as well. So yeah, that's really about all I can say on that. When will the digital library be completed? This fall. We thought that it would be done by now, but they continue to work even during the pandemic. They were construction projects were allowed to continue on during the pandemic. Right now, and I think it's this weekend, and Martin, you correct me if I've got the dates wrong, maybe it's next weekend, they're going to be cutting into the fiber to tie it into the library. So we're going to experience some intermittent interruptions of cable and internet on campus while they are going through the process of tying in the fiber. But we're certainly optimistic that at some point this fall we will be in a position to go ahead and move in. And again, super excited about that. Several questions about the data. And one of the things that I want you to understand is that the main focus of all the data efforts that we will undertake will center around the student. And I think Martin alluded to one of the scenarios where we're able to look and see how students are utilizing their time on campus. The cafeteria is 24/7. Are they going in and eating at 2 o'clock in the morning? And are they attending their corresponding 8 a.m. class? Are they attending all of the football games or none of the football games? All of this data will be able to provide, good insight into whether or not the programs that we have are being well attended by the students, who's attending them, who's not, and really giving us a better lens to know how we can better serve our students. Now, there was a question whether this will mean more work for faculty. I would actually say on the flip side of that, it will arm our faculty with more tools to be more effective in their teaching. A faculty member will be able to look and see whether or not that student was at the cafeteria at 4 o'clock in the morning, right before they came in for the 8 o'clock class. There's just so much that can be done. And we have faculty members who are actually doing research. One, I think is Dr. Clausen, and Dr. Walton, correct me if I've got the wrong one, but doing data analytics on literature and the use of certain words and phrases within literature. So, our faculty is already engaged in various types of research involving big data. So I think our faculty will absolutely love the fact that they will have access to all of this rich information that will help us all to be better. And so I think, for many of you who finished in our technology related programs, you understand the value of having the data to drive the decisions that we're going to make. Let's see, is there still a plan to have a hotel built in Grambling? The university has not undertaken any plans to build a hotel. Mayor Jones did mention that they are moving forward with their plans to build a hotel behind the Legend Square area. They've got a really nice office there for the Economic Development Corporation, which we were able to create the tax incremental financing district when I was still a member of the Senate to provide them the ability to build that area out there. So yeah, the city is still intending to move forward with that project. Ms. Ferguson, Ms. Hattie Ferguson White, you asked about the class of 1970. We are planning to do that recognition, and of course we just were not able to do it during the course of having canceled or postponed the commencements last spring, and then having the makeup ceremonies back in the fall. But Ms. Valencia Williams is chairing that effort, and you should be in touch with them. Kenyatta asked when we're going to open the intramural center. Again, there's still just a few things on the contractor's punch list that we have to ensure that the facility is is totally complete before we take possession of it. Again, we don't want to take it before all the items have been checked off. So, but we're hoping that's soon. Oh God, I hope that's real soon because I'm ready to go swimming in there. Um, let's see. All right, I think I got through most of them. There's one for Dr. Walton and then for Dr. Scott.
I have two more, sir. One that came in the Laguna Convention org box for you, and then one from online here. So if we'll get you here while you're still up.
Oh, and the question for Dr. Scott about the track and field, I'm going to take that one because his first official day was today. I mean, we all know that that the track has been in need of of some tender loving care, and we're absolutely committed to doing that, as well as tennis that we spoke about and everything else. So again, we are certainly well aware of projects that need to be done on our campus, both academic and athletic. And as much as we would love to have been able to check all of them off the list at this point, we've not. But again, I think if you were listening to the last almost hour, or a little over an hour, you'll see that we have been accomplishing a lot, and there's still a lot more to do. And I promise you, we're going to continue every day to give you even more things for us all to celebrate as Graham fam.
Okay, Perez, I got one more offline question here, and another one just popped in the chat. But the question is, the Office of Admissions, we were in COVID and we got limited on travel and that kind of thing. And the budget has kind of been low funding for travel and that stuff. So is the school looking at that if it does open back up, to put funding in that particular department for travel and recruitment?
Yeah, so, the basis for the question is a little flawed in that it wasn't a function of no or low budget for travel. There was a statewide travel ban. No state employees could travel. So, and again, I gave an interview to one of the local news outlets, and they asked if we could identify, why our enrollment continues to grow even in a pandemic. I said, it's because of our alums. I said, our alumni base has been so engaged to go places that we've been unable to go, to connect with prospective students. That's why our numbers continue to grow. It's because of the work that so many of you are doing. So, again, I thank all of you who have really taken this time to lean in and really be our face and our hands and our feet in places that we've not been able to go. But we have not defunded the admissions team. It was just simply nobody could travel over this last year. But and if we can get on the other side of this Delta variant, look, I sent a message to Dr. Carpenter in the Bay Area. I want to come to the Bay Area and recruit and fundraise and friend raise. We've been needing to get out to Silicon Valley. There are a lot of places that we would love to go. And again, once we're in a position to be able to do it safely, as Dr. Scott said, we're going to be on the road and coming to a town near you.
Okay, and the last question here is actually in the chat. Are there campus projects that the alumni chapters can take on either financially or physically?
Yes, absolutely. There are tons of projects, and what I'd like to do is maybe let's coordinate your ideas with the needs. Of course, there's always a need for investments in in equipment. Again, if you wanted to give a gift of flowers to redo our flower beds. I mean, there are tons of things that that could be done. So again, I appreciate the offer of assistance. We will gladly take it, and we could probably match some of our student organizations like the President's Student Leadership Initiative and fraternities and sororities to work together with alums to do some of these things. So thank you for that. We look forward to it.
Okay, sir. That's all the questions we had, either online or in the org box for the convention. At this point, I want to say thank you, President Gallo, Dr. Walton, Mr. LaMelle, Dr. Scott, for the information tonight. We really appreciate you taking your time out to do that. And we'll turn it over to President Jones of the GUNA to say a few words. We'll say a prayer and then we'll close up. President Jones.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I want to echo what Demetrius said. I want to thank you all from GUNAA, President Gallo and team. We thank you all for the information that you shared, and we greatly appreciate the job that you're doing. 5 years did go real fast, and we look forward to working with you the next however many years to continue to grow Grambling and be the place where everyone continue to admire and respect, and the place where everybody's somebody. Well, thank you for your time this evening.